Look, we're in the corner again. It must be time for Thomson's Music Corner.
Yes.
Corner O Media. It's tight set. We could have built it bigger, but it has an intimidating amount of knowledge. Here.
It was.
Here.
You would not believe our production cost to get all of these DVDs in here for
And
the shot.
CDs.
Yeah. Getting all of this in here. Oh, and don't forget the model cases and
Here.
VHSs.
Here.
Over here. Yeah, the production costs were ridiculous.
Okay, so you're going to talk about an Icelandic elfin fairy princess who magically emerged from the volcanic testicles of the mid-Atlantic ridge as a wonderful, benign, magical presence of pure goodness and adorable matriarchal values. Bjork Gudmundsdottir.
Not quite the way I describe her, but yeah.
Oh my God! You're never going to be able to watch Dancer in the Dark. You can never watch that. It will break your heart into a million pieces.
What?
Yeah, Bjork's in that. That's her movie that she's in.
Oh,
You know who directed that? Lars von Trier.
Oh,
he does not. He doesn't play. That dude's rough.
I remember that actually. That's she releases a little soundtrack album for it right in between Homogenic and Vespertine, which are the two albums that I listened to by her actually.
All right.
And yeah, I was frankly pretty impressed with both of them. I like Vespertine a lot more than Homogenic, which is an opinion shared by a lot of people. But I do think they're both very good albums. They just kind of have different goals, and which one you like more, for me at least, kind of depends on what you want to see from Bjork as an artist. But yeah, basically, Bjork, in like the way her songs are constructed, is a bit much to get used to at first, just because she has a extremely wide vocal range that she uses very freely. Like she does not like hold back. Like Freddie Mercury also had a really wide vocal range, but he would hold back for some songs that could be, you know, better singles, like so you could sing along more to him. Bjork does not do that. Bjork does not care really.
No, she's a musical valkyrie from the frozen volcanic wastes and lava fields and the steam vents of Iceland.
Yeah, you would probably like her third album more, because while her fourth album is definitely very personal and sounds a lot like her, Homogenic sounds a lot like Iceland as a country. Like, it definitely... Do
you know the loudest piece of music ever written? It was written by an Icelandic composer, like the most fortes ever written down on a piece of music, and it's called Hekla. And it's actually his musical version of the volcanoes exploding in Iceland.
Interesting...
Iceland's got other things besides Bjork and decent airfares and wonderful food and about 200,000 matriarchally defined Vikings.
Yeah, you do have to imagine it's pretty easy to fly.
Have you ever read the Icelandic sagas of Snorri Sturluson? True name, real name, actual. This is on God, no cap, full bussin' fleek, whatever. No, really. He actually, in his sagas, the Gylfaginning from like 1260, they like 1/3 of the book is like the story of like Odin and the Asgardians, and like 1/3 of it is story of Iceland stuff, or stuff that happened in Iceland, and then 1/3 of it is like a writer's guide on like how to write awesome Icelandic sagas, because
that's probably the part I'd like to read.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like, when talking about a mountain, refer to the fiery qualities of the mountain. Refer to the sharp edges, the blades of the peaks and the ridges, as though they are weapons expressed by the gods in the land itself. It's like, Iceland is the place that the other Vikings from Sweden and Denmark and Norway, or what would become Sweden, Denmark, Norway, they would go over to Iceland and commission sagas from all the Icelandic artists. That's actually like became their only industry, because they could barely support themselves. They basically lived on food aid from Norway.
Yeah.
And Bjork is another in that tradition.
And now,
So what does she actually sound like? Because you told me how much other things that you didn't tell us sound like each other. But how do you describe Bjork? Is she a rock and roller? Is she like Elvis from the Ice, or is she like The Cure and she's all, "It's so rainy, I'm so sad"?
frankly, she could probably sing in any one of those bands.
She can do anything. She's a magic elf. We established that.
As far as what she actually sounds like, it's kind of interesting because if you've ever heard Nico, of the Velvet Underground Nico, one of the things that you'll notice is that she's a pretty good singer, all things considered, but she sings with a distinctly German accent, which makes some of her stuff sound really weird and just not standard at all. Yeah. And Bjork is the same way, but with an Icelandic accent, which is really funny, actually, because she's completely fluent in English and has been for a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
But
she
just
speak,
still
4 languages. They're super educated.
But she still, sounds weird just because she's an artist and she'll phrase things really weirdly. Like, "I hope you have a lush day, everyone," because that's just the kind of person that Bjork is. That's just how she is, and people straight up think she's not fluent in English because of that. But as far as...
These beats are so juicy.
Yeah, but basically...
She's awesome.
She sings either really high or shockingly low, depending on how she's feeling that day.
She can get down.
And she sings with a distinctly Icelandic accent, which can also take a bit
So what's your genre?
Getting used to.
What's your genre in their Spotify generation? She blues guitar, plays the guitar, sings about how sad the Iceland lava fields are.
I would say that she's pop, but the issue is it's really hard to genre.
J-pop, K-pop?
The I-pop, I guess.
I-pop.
It's been kind of hard for me to categorize Bjork because she's definitely pop because she has the kind of backing instrumentals and stuff that you would expect from pop, but really she doesn't fit very cleanly into any genre because as far as what her backing beats are, which for those of you who don't know, the way Bjork typically does an album is she'll come up with her vocal parts and singing parts and then hire somebody else to produce for her. She doesn't typically do the beats herself, or if she does, it'll be in tandem with another producer.
Think she's ever going to release the RZA project? Because he has the fat beats.
Unfortunately not. It doesn't seem like she's ever going to do that because apparently that stuff was put in the works a very long time ago and it still hasn't been released to this day, so it is really a shame, but
I still want to hear Bjork and RZA.
It'd probably work. Bjork could really that's the thing.
Of course it would work. They're both geniuses.
And that's the thing, is because Bjork can sing on just about anything because of just how incredibly versatile she is, what that means is her songs can be anything from a touching personal ballad like Cocoon to a really loud, overwhelming, almost classical arrangement like Yoga, which is just really interesting. She's, even within the context of an album, she showcases so much versatility and so many different influences that it's just really hard to categorize her as one thing or another. But overall, I guess expect pop going in.
We love you, Bjork. Awesome.